It's starting to feel more and more like the next chapter in Kratos' journey is finally coming into focus, and all signs are pointing straight to Egypt. For years, fans have speculated where the God of War series would head after Ragnarok, and now, between credible reports and a very interesting comment from Kratos' own voice actor, it seems that the long-rumored God of War Egypt might actually be real. Christopher Judge, who has voiced Kratos since 2018, recently made waves by teasing his interest in taking Kratos to Egypt, a line that might seem harmless at first but fits perfectly with everything we've been hearing from industry insiders over the last few months. It's the kind of statement that doesn't happen by accident, especially not from someone as deeply involved in the series as Judge. Combine that with reliable reports from people like Tom Henderson, who claimed earlier this year that Santa Monica Studio has indeed greenlit a new mainline entry, and it's starting to look like we're on the verge of a huge reveal. According to Henderson and other insiders, the next God of War game is said to take place in ancient Egypt, with Kratos wielding a curved Egyptian blade similar to a scimitar as his new main weapon. It's a fascinating evolution for the character both thematically and mechanically. After the Norse saga, where the Blades of Chaos and Leviathan Axe define the combat system, this new weapon could completely reinvent how God of War feels to play. The reports mention fast, sweeping attacks, sand-infused powers, and environmental destruction that ties directly into Egyptian mythology. Imagine battling gods of the desert, ancient pharaohs risen from tombs, and hieroglyph-covered temples collapsing as you fight within them. But what's even more exciting is what's happening behind the scenes at Santa Monica. Multiple sources have said the studio is working on two God of War projects, one being this new mainline title, and the other being a smaller 2.5D Metroidvania-style spin-off that's reportedly been in the works for some time. That smaller project is said to focus on a younger Kratos exploring his backstory and relationship with his father, a story that would bring us back to Greece in a more side-scrolling atmospheric format. It's expected to be announced soon, possibly at an upcoming State of Play. Still, the main event is undoubtedly the Egyptian saga. The shift in setting opens up an entirely new mythology to explore, gods like Ra, Anubis, Osiris, and Horus, each with their own domains and influence over life, death, and the afterlife. Egyptian mythology is filled with cycles of resurrection, divine punishment, and balance between order and chaos, themes that align perfectly with Kratos' personal arc. After the events of Ragnarok, he's a man searching for redemption, meaning, and peace, but the world of Egypt might not be so forgiving. Rumors suggest the story could center on Kratos being drawn into the conflict between the living and the dead, possibly acting as a reluctant enforcer of balance in a land ruled by divine law and eternal judgment. Combat-wise, insiders claim Santa Monica is taking everything learned from the last two entries and pushing it further. The curved sword reportedly introduces faster combos and allows for more fluid mobility in battle. Environmental interactions like summoning sandstorms to blind enemies or using ancient traps are said to play a bigger role. There are also whispers about dynamic day-night cycles and survival-like exploration in the deserts, complete with shifting terrain and mirages that could blur the line between reality and myth. It's worth noting that while Santa Monica hasn't officially confirmed the next God of War, they've been hinting for a while that their next big project is well underway. Cory Barlog, who directed the 2018 game, is reportedly leading a new team on something massive, described by Bloomberg's Jason Schreier as a reinvention of an older IP that might feel like something entirely new. If that doesn't sound like a mythology shift for God of War, it's hard to imagine what does. What's especially exciting about the possibility of an Egyptian setting is how visually and thematically different it could be. Picture vast deserts stretching to the horizon, lush oases hiding ancient secrets, and massive pyramids filled with the undead. Instead of snowy mountains and frozen realms, you'd have scorching sun, tombs buried in gold, and sprawling temples carved into cliffs. Every element of Egypt's mythology offers a chance for Santa Monica to do something visually and emotionally stunning. And Kratos once again would be the perfect vessel to guide players through it. And while the main focus will likely remain on Kratos, it's rumored that Atreus could return in some capacity, possibly as a secondary protagonist or in flashbacks. The father-son dynamic that defined the Norse saga might evolve into something new here, especially if Kratos continues his journey of becoming the kind of god his son once hoped he could be. If all of this lines up, the timing couldn't be more perfect. With PlayStation rumored to host a major showcase soon, and considering God of War's history of stealing the spotlight at these events, a reveal before the end of the year feels entirely possible. Especially now that the Old Country and other Sony titles have wrapped up their cycles, the path seems clear for Santa Monica to make its big return. Fans are already buzzing about what kind of gameplay we could see. Will Egypt's gods be as brutal and arrogant as the ones Kratos has already faced? Will there be large-scale battles in sprawling cities under the rule of divine kings? What about mounts or new traversal systems, perhaps sand surfing or gliding across dunes on ancient relics? It's all on the table. And what really makes this so special is how much passion Santa Monica puts into every frame. Even when working on new IPs or smaller side projects, they've never lost sight of what makes God of War such a cornerstone of PlayStation's legacy: storytelling that feels grand but personal, combat that's cinematic but deep, and a world that feels alive with mythology. If this next chapter really takes Kratos to Egypt, it could be the most exciting reinvention yet. The blend of sun-drenched brutality, ancient mysticism, and deeply human storytelling has the potential to redefine the series once again. And honestly, that's what fans have been waiting for. And if that tease from Christopher Judge really was more than just wishful thinking, then we might not be waiting much longer to see it. If there's one thing that's keeping the PlayStation community on edge right now, it's the mystery surrounding what's next for God of War. And while nothing's been officially revealed, the whispers, leaks, and now teases from the cast themselves are all painting a picture that's becoming harder and harder to ignore. Kratos is heading to Egypt, and the scale of what Santa Monica Studio is building might just rival the Norse saga in every way imaginable. Beyond the Egyptian setting itself, there have been a few smaller yet really intriguing leaks about what the team might be experimenting with this time around. One of the most fascinating comes from a supposed insider close to the studio, claiming that the next God of War won't be entirely linear. Instead, it's said to feature semi-open regions, still heavily narrative-driven, but with more room for freedom, exploration, and side quests tied deeply into Egyptian myth. These aren't just side activities either. We're talking about story-rich discoveries, rival gods, hidden tombs, and powerful artifacts that shape how Kratos fights and interacts with the world. Apparently, the hub structure introduced in Ragnarok will evolve here, with large explorable biomes representing different regions of Egypt, from the bustling city of Memphis to the ruins of Thebes and the mysterious tombs of the Valley of the Kings. Each zone is said to have its own dominant god, shaping both its landscape and its challenges. One area might have constant sandstorms summoned by Set, while another could be flooded by the tears of Isis, forcing players to rethink their approach with environmental hazards and traversal mechanics. Multiple leaks suggest Santa Monica is putting a lot of focus on verticality this time around. Climbing and acrobatics, inspired by Kratos' Greek-era agility, might be making a full comeback. This would make sense if the game really is set among the pyramids and massive temples of Egypt, environments built upward, not outward. There's also talk about the introduction of new companion mechanics. While Atreus may not be the primary sidekick this time, given how Ragnarok ended his arc, insiders have hinted at a new character stepping in to balance Kratos' solitude. Some rumors point toward a mysterious Egyptian warrior or even a priestess of Anubis who joins Kratos on his path, someone who represents the gods but questions them as much as he does. This could make for a really interesting dynamic. This new companion might push him morally, testing how much of his rage and past he's truly left behind.